Hiya, Rob Value here. I wanted to talk about the way someone can approach a conversation. I mean, this is going to sound like basic stuff, but I think it's good to have a reminder of the basics sometimes. And the way I see it, there's three basic ways to approach someone who's saying something that you don't agree with for whatever reason. Three basic ways. I'd say two of them are acceptable and one's unacceptable, in my opinion. So I'd say there's the open-minded approach, there's the closed-minded approach, and the non-engagement approach. So the non-engagement is simply someone says, I think this, or I think that is true, or this is my opinion about this, or whatever, and you're, for whatever reason, not interested in continuing the conversation. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about that, or I haven't got time to talk about that, I don't want to talk to you, I've already done a lot of research on this and I don't want to discuss it further, anything like that. And as I say, in my opinion, that's absolutely fine. No one is obliged to discuss anything with anyone, and they shouldn't be. There's no need to be rude about it, but again, just my opinion. Being rude isn't helpful. So another approach is the open-minded approach. So here you're actually receptive to what the person's saying. Now, what they're saying may sound crazy to you, it may just sound like it's wrong. It may even be that you don't even understand what it is they're talking about. On forums, this frequently happen to me. People will make claims that I don't even understand what the claim is, let alone how there could be evidence for it. So how do I approach it? I do an open, if I want to respond at all, I do the open response. I say, okay, could you explain what this means? I don't understand what that means. And then if I can get to the point where I can understand what they're saying, then I'll say, okay, so why do you think that? What's your evidence? What are your arguments? And then after I've given them a chance to put their position forward, then I can make a conclusion, I can offer feedback. That's the open-minded approach. I don't have to, just because I'm hearing them out doesn't mean I have to agree with them, doesn't mean I'm giving them any credibility. It just means that I want to hear things from their point of view. I want to get all the facts before I make a conclusion. The closed approach, so obviously those two are what I think are acceptable ways to respond in a discussion to someone who's saying something that you don't agree with. The third one, which I think is unacceptable or should be avoided, just in my opinion, just my bit of advice, that's all, is the closed approach, which is to just say, no, you're wrong. I'm not going to engage with you, but you're wrong. I'm not interested in why you think that. I'm not interested in your arguments or evidence. You're just wrong. Whatever evidence you have must be flawed. Your arguments must be wrong. You must be crazy. Anything like that. So it's a kind of non-engagement, but with judgment thrown in. So it's like basically saying, I win the argument because I say so, and the argument's over. I'm not even interested in what you've got to say. The reason I find this unacceptable is it's just pointless. You're never going to convince anyone of anything by just telling them they're wrong and telling them their reasoning must be stupid, their evidence must be rubbish, they're crazy, whatever. All you're doing is puffing up yourself and showing off to other people. If you don't want to talk about it, if you think the person is crazy or you think this is a settled issue, there's no need to do that. You could just say, well, the non-engagement thing would be to say, well, I personally disagree with that. I'd rather not discuss it further. You could say that. But the closed-minded approach is to say that you're wrong and you can't, that you're right and that you can't be wrong, and then there's no more to it than that. And because you can't be wrong, whatever the other person's saying, what their evidence must be flawed, because if it wasn't flawed, that would mean you're wrong, and you can't be wrong. So I mean, it's entirely circular. I mean, you can be as sure as you like that you're right, but you might still be wrong. Okay. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.